Welcome back once again. Like my previous video, today's session is also gonna be the most important one because I'm gonna solve top 10 commonly tested questions on advanced math in digital SAT. So these questions covers the most of the syllabus of advanced math what you're supposed to learn, and I also gonna teach you the concepts and the fundamental behind, and also how you can easily solve by using desmos graphing calculator. So if you have not gone through my previous video, then find the link given in the description and you can watch them. So now let's start with the question here. So one more thing, as I can see that I have taken the questions randomly from the sample test, of course the very recent one which is provided by College Board, and I have chosen a question based on the topics. So you will be finding a random numbering here. So it's just about I have taken it from the different tests. So your concern is to understand the foundation, understand the concept behind it rather than looking the numbers. Okay, so now let's start with the question here. It says, in the system of equations above, a and b are constants. For which of the following values of a and b does the system's equation have exactly two real solutions? So you should be knowing what is the meaning of two real solution, one real solution, no real solution, and so on. So let me explain. Suppose if we have only one quadratic equation, and I believe you guys are aware of a general way of writing quadratic equation. So generally we write it as y equals to ax square plus bx plus c. This is called a quadratic equation, and its graph is also called a parabola. You might be learned at school. Now when it is plotted on desmos graphing calculator, and now in case if the graph of this one is shown like this, it may be opening up or opening down, regardless it depends on the coefficient of x square. Now in this case, as long this graph is not intersecting x-axis, this kind of situation we use no real solution. Okay, so remember this situation, I say it has no real solution. Now in case if the same equation is plotted on the x and y axis, and if that graph touches the x-axis at one point, we say one distinct solution or one real solution. In that case I say one real solution or one solution simply. Now what if this quadratic equation intersecting x-axis at two different points, regardless where it is? Okay, now in that case I can see that it's intersecting x-axis at two distinct points. So this kind of graphs and its representation we call it as two real solution. Now this is about only when we have given us like just a one equation. Now what if we have given a system of equation? Idea goes the same, but all these conditions we will be checking out with the line y equals to 3 or y equals to 2.5, whatever. In this case, according to the question they are asking us, for which of the following values of a and b does the system of equations have exactly two real solution? So when we are plotting y equals to 3 on the desmos, it shows a line which is parallel with x-axis. So let's take, this is the line what I can say y equals to 3. This is the line what I can say y equal to 3. Now when you are plotting this equation also on the desmos, you can choose a value of a and b from the options. It should be intersecting that line y equals to 3 at two different points. I don't know where it is, regardless. Now those value of those value of a and b says this given system has exactly two real solution. Now what would be your role? You have to type these equation on the desmos and check it out. Now let me show here. Y equal to 3 is a line which is parallel to x-axis. Next, y equal to, now rather than adding slider to both a and b, what you can do is choose the value of a and b carefully from the option. In the first case, a value is negative 2 and b value is positive 2. You can substitute negative 2x square positive 2. Is it intersecting the line y equal to 3? No. When I'm saying it is not, then this is called no real solution or no solutions. So A is not true. Then check out with option B. You simply need to modify the equations rather than writing again and again. In the second option, A is negative 2 and B is 4. Only change the value of B. So A, we are considering it as negative 2 and B as 4, and I'm substituting at this value. A is negative 2x square positive 4. When you make it, what happens? I can see that the graph intersecting the line y equal to 3 at two distinct points. I'm not looking what values those are. I'm just looking, are they intersecting at 2 points? Yes. Then definitely these value of A and B helps us to finding exactly two real solution for the given quadratic. So we go with option B. Now don't waste your time for checking C and D, because out of 4 there is only one option correct. So we go with option B is the right choice here. Now let's go to the next question. It says that the graph of y equal to fx plus 14 is shown. This is the graph of f function which has been translated 14 units up. Whenever we say y is equals to fx, plus meaning translated up, minus meaning translated down. So this is the graph of the line y equals to fx plus 14. Which of the equation defines the f? So which of the equation defines the original equation or original graph of this line? So let me tell you, whenever the graphs are translated, whether it is up, down, right, left, or they're combined, translated lines are always parallel to the original lines. So that's why slopes of the translated lines always equal with the actual given line. Now slopes are same. Now question asking you to predict which of the option shows that the original line which has been translated up by 14 units. Now I simply need to do, see, the y-intercept of the translated line is positive 2. So original line should have 14 units down of it. Then what do? You simply, to find out the y-intercept, you can do the current y-intercept, that is 2, minus it, as it has to go 14 units down. So that's what I'm doing, minus 14. I'm looking for y-intercept of original line. Okay, so that's, you can subtract current intercept with the what value you have to go down. If you subtract it, that gives me the y-intercept of actual. So 2 minus 14, that's gonna be negative 12. And equation of a line, what they clearly told us is y equals to fx plus 14 is the given one. So I should look at to the option whose y-intercept is representing negative 12. I don't know what is the slope, and I don't even want as well. If you want, you can calculate, but not needed, because my main concern is to look out which one will be the y-intercept. So I can see that there is only one option with negative 12 is this. So we go with option A is the right answer here. Next question says, how many distinct real solutions does the given equation have? It's a simply standard quadratic equation. What you're supposed to do is plot it on desmos and check it out. If the values of x we are getting it as 2, meaning the two lines which are intersecting x-axis, then we use the word it has two distinct real solution. If the graph of it or value of x is intersecting x-axis at only one point, then we say one distinct real solution. And in case if the graph or the value of x is nothing shown for this after typing, then we say it has no real solution, or we can say it has zero solution. It's completely a desmos. Type it here, 5x square plus 10x plus 16 equal to 0, and check it out. Am I getting any graph? You can zoom in, zoom out. I can see that there is no value of x. As long there is no value of x, you can see that, and you can say conformly that this quadratic equation has zero solutions or zero distinct real solutions. Let's go to the next question here. It says that the function f is defined by fx equal to x minus 6 times x minus 2 times x plus 6. In the xy plane, the graph of y equal to gx is result of translating the graph y is equals to fx up 4 units. What is the value of g0? They are trying to tell us when this gx is graph is same as the graph of f of x plus add 4 to it up 4 units. So in that case, when the value of x is gonna be 0, what is the result of g graph? That's the question. Now what I supposed to do, you can simply write down here it as according to the instructions given, function gx is equals to f of x plus 4, because function gx is resulting by adding 4 to fx, that is up by 4 units. Whenever we are talking about the graph is shifted up by certain unit, it meaning we have to add it. So similarly this can all be written as g of x equals to x minus 6 times x minus 2 times x plus 6. This whole thing is representing the function fx plus 4. Type it as it is on the desmos and check it out what is the value of graph g when x equals to 0. So can you just do this? So here I can say, I can type it as g of x or simply y equals to x minus 6, x minus 2, x plus 6. To this result add 4 and check it out what is the value of g function when x is gonna be 0. In short, we are asked to find out the y-intercept of this graph. Y-intercept is the point where the value of x is gonna be 0. I can see that when x is equals to 0, value of y is gonna be 76. So what is the value of g0 here? I can say g0 is equals to 76. So you can type it as 76 in the filling the blank space provided. Oh sorry, I'm writing it as 17. So type it as 76 as your answer. One of the factor of 2x cube plus 42x square plus 208x is x plus b, where b is a positive constant. What is the smallest possible value of b? Again, type this given expression as it is on the desmos and check it out. What are the factors of this cubic equation? Factors are basically, first take down the zeros and convert them into factor by taking those values to the other side. First of all, let's find out the zeros of this cubic equation. Type it carefully. You can type y equals to this whole thing, or you can also simply type the way how it has given, 2x cube plus 42x square plus 208x. You can see that, you can see the graph and you have to look at where these graphs are crossing x-axis and at how many distinct point. We can observe these graphs are crossing x-axis at 0, that is one solution or one root is gonna be x is gonna be 0. Another one, x is gonna be negative 8, and the third one is x is gonna be negative 13. These all are called zeros. So you might be learned in quadratic and cubic equations. How do you convert that zeros to factors? How do you make it? So factors of this one is simply you have to take zeros to the other side by changing its sign. When you are taking x equal to 0, when you take that 0, same it as x equal to, or x minus 0 is x itself. So but in this case, when you take it as negative x to the other side, it turns to be x plus 8, and when you take negative 13 to the other side, it turns to be x plus 13. According to them, among this given, x plus b is the one of the factor, and they are asking us which is the smallest possible value of b. I can see b could be 8, b could be 13, but among that the smallest possible value what we can have it as 8. So definitely b is 8 from this. Okay, so that's what I'm comparing this b with the one of the factor. So at the place of b we have 8, so this is the smallest possible value of b could have. Let's talk about the next question here. In the given system of equations, a is a constant, The graph of the equation in the given system intersect at exactly one point, which is x comma y in the xy plane. What is the value of x? So the graph of the systems are intersecting at one point. At that point, what is the value of x? But here a we don't know. So anyway, you simply need to type it on desmos and add slider to a and check it out for what value of a those graphs are intersecting at one point and what is the x value over there. Simply type it as y equals to 2x square minus 21x plus 64. This is the graph, and enter next. So y equals to 3x plus a. As we don't know value of a, so we have to add slider for it. So you can add a slider for the range. Generally I take a value of whatever the constant, I take it as from minus 100 to plus 100 with the step size of 0.1, or you can also say 0.01 or 0.1 regardless. Okay, now you have to change a value of a in a way that the graph and the line which has been plotted should intersect each other at only one point. Now just keep doing that. As you can see, if you are increasing value of a, graphs are intersecting at 2 points, but when you decrease it, you can see there will be some situation where the graphs are intersecting at 1 point only. You can see this is the point where the graphs are intersecting each other. And now what is the point over there? You can see, yes, you can see even more careful, more clear by zooming out, and I can find somewhere over here. This is x is 6, y is gonna be 10. Now I can see that the only value what matches with the what our prediction or what we are getting from the graph is this. So value of x is gonna be 6. Be careful here, they are not asking you the value of a. In most of the question they generally ask you to find out the constant like a, but here they are not asking you that. They are asking you for what value of x these graphs are intersecting each other. So at that point value of x is gonna be 6. So C is the right answer. Next question says the function f is defined by f of x equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Basically it's a quadratic function where a, b and c are constants. The graph of y equal to fx in the xy plane passes through the points 7, 0 and negative 3, 0. If a is a constant greater than 1, which of the following could be the value of a plus b? So how do we predict from the given coordinate points? How do we predict the value of a, b and c? Let me tell you, as they are clearly telling us, when we plot this function or this parabola on the xy plane, this parabola intersecting x-axis at two distinct points. What are those? One is 7, 0 when x is 7 and y is gonna be 0, and there is another negative 3, 0, meaning parabola will be going somewhere like this, as they clearly told a is positive. So this is what the situation is. Now we have to write that parabola in a factor form. Now what are the zeros of this given function? X equal to negative 3 and x equals to 7, because they are x-intercepts. So those are the zeros. Convert them into factor by taking them to the other side by changing the sign. Then x plus 3 is a factor here and x minus 7 is a factor of this point. Now you can write this function into a factor form like this. So you can write it as f of x equals to x plus 3 times x minus 7 is the same equation of a parabola which is written in factor form. Now what are you supposed to do? You should expand it by distributing and convert into original or standard form of parabola. Now how do we do that? Just by distribution. Okay, you can simplify it as x multiplied by x is gonna be x square, x times negative 7 is gonna be negative 7x, 3 times x is gonna be positive 3x, so 3 times negative 7 is gonna be negative 21. Combine like terms to simplify further. X square minus 7x plus 3x, minus 7 plus 3 is gonna be minus 4x. I'm combining like terms. Minus 21 is as it is. When you compare this one with the standard function which is given in terms of ABC, this becomes ax square plus bx plus c. From there what you get? So value of a here is basically the coefficient of x square. If nothing has written means coefficient is 1. So when you are comparing this one with this, so in that case a value here it is 1. What is the value of b? B is the coefficient of x, which is gonna be negative 4. So b equal to negative 4. C value is negative 21. C is gonna be negative 21, but we don't need it. Question asking you what is the value of a plus b. Simply you're gonna do a plus b as 1 plus of negative 4, that is negative 3. So answer to this is gonna be negative 3, which is option B. So that's how you convert a factor form to a standard, predict a constants, and add, multiply, whatever they will ask you to do further. Now let's talk to the next question here. The function g is defined by the expression the value of g 7 minus w is 0, where w is a constant. Now what is the sum of all possible values of w? Now what are you supposed to do? Replace wherever we have x with the 7 minus w and then entire expression set it up equal to 0, because question says g of 7 minus w is 0. So carefully put it at the place of x, replace this, that is 7 minus w times 7 minus w minus 2 times 7 minus w plus 6 whole square. This is the whole thing of g. I'm simply replacing x with this because this is the value of x supposed to be, and this result equal to 0. In that case, what is the value of w? That's the question. But while typing it on desmos, always we type unknown or variable we use as x. So type it in terms of x and check it out for what are the value of x, the function that g is turning to 0. Basically you have to look at x intercepts. So type it carefully, 7 minus x. I'm typing w as x, okay? Desmos always works with x or y. 7 minus w minus 2, 7 minus w plus 6. Oh, I'm sorry, why I'm writing it as w? I told you to type it as x. Okay, x plus 6, but you have to make it as square. Set up equal to 0. Now you'll be getting some values of x, by the way. So what are those values? Those are the values of w. So one value you can get it as 5 and one value you can get it as 7. You can get it, you can see it from here, okay? So one value is 5, one value is 7. So you can take those and you can add them. So from this I can say one value of w is gonna be 5 and another value of w is gonna be 7. What is the sum of all possible values of w? Sum means basically add those values. So 5 plus 7, which is gonna be 12. So 12 is the right answer to this question. Yes, this is, I can see, I can find only two values of those. So 12 is the right answer. Now let's talk to the next question here. Which quadratic equation has no real solution? Now how do I do this? As I already told, equation has no real solution. When you type it on the desmos, it should not give any value of x. It's a very similar concept we discussed previously. If the value of, if the x value you are getting as 1 or 2, it has one solution or two solution and so on. but if nothing shows, then it has no real solution. Now check it up. The first equation says x square plus 14x minus 49 equals 0. What I can see? I can see that 2x intercept, so it has two distinct real solution. So this is not A. Then check it out, x square minus 14x plus 49. So you simply need to change their sign, minus 14x plus 49. Again, it is intersecting that graph at some point, so it has one distinct real solution. So A cannot be the answer, B cannot be the answer, because I'm just simply substituting them on the desmos. Now try with option C, 5x square minus 14x minus 49. Check it out, minus 49. I'm getting two distinct values, then it also has a two real solution. Only option we left with is option D. Now see, in the exam no need of doing this. As we know, if three are wrong, definitely fourth has to be choice. But let me show you why I'm saying so conformly. When you replace that minus 49 with plus 49, you won't be getting any graph, regardless how much zoom in zoom out you do. No, it meaning this indicates that it has no real solution. In the exam, if you are not getting any graph, doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong or mistake, meaning that quadratic has no real solution. So we go with option D as a right choice here. Let's do the last question for today's session here. It says that the graph of y equals to 2x square plus bx plus c is shown where b and c are constants. What is the value of bc? bc meaning b times c. So let me give you a brief about a quadratic equation and that each term what corresponds to. Generally, when a quadratic equation is written like this, y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c, that c alone itself shows y-intercept, and y-intercept is the point where the graph of quadratic equation crossing y-axis. So when you compare this one with y equals to the given equation, that is 2x square plus bx plus c, by referring to the given equation and the point where the graph is crossing y-axis, I can predict the value of c. C here is gonna be negative 6, and I can also say value of a by comparing the given equation with the standard one. A is equals to 2, but I don't need that a, I actually need a b. How do you find out the b value? So you need to write how do we find a vertex of the parabola in a standard form. So let me tell you. So there is a way how to find out the x-intercept of vertex when the parabola has given in the standard form. So vertex x can be found it as minus b by 2a. Please remember this worth to know. X-intercept or x-axis of the vertex, in our case vertex here, x is gonna be minus 1 and y is gonna be minus 8. So vertex here is minus 1 comma minus 8. To find out the x value and y value here, we use this formula to find out x. So vertex x equals to, this is what I can say, vertex x equals to minus b by 2a. Now what is a b? B is the coefficient of x and a is the coefficient of x square. Now from that I know vertex value which is negative 1. You can say negative 1 equals to minus b by 2 times, what is the value of a? I said a, it's gonna be 2 times 2, that gives us negative 1 equals to negative b by 4. Just cross multiply. Here it shows that negative 4 is equals to negative b, because minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. So simply it says b equals to 4. I got a value of b. I already know the value of c. Then the product of bc is gonna be 4 times negative 6, which is gonna be negative 24. So this is their product, and that's how you find. Please remember, this is important, the formula to find out the vertex x, and it is only when a quadratic function or a parabola has given in this form. Alright, that's it for today's class. If you like this video, then please do share and subscribe to my channel, and also forward to your friends and classmates so that they can also take benefit of it. Hope to see you guys in a very soon in the next video. All the best.